Welcome, my name is David Malin and this is CS50. And this is not your typical high school computer science course. This course is a little something special. And that's not because I'm teaching it, but because this is one of, we like to think, those rare courses that actually squeezes your brain so much and your schedule so much that by semester's end you genuinely feel smarter. So that was the way I felt when I myself took this course back in 1996. I was a government major at the time, here living in Mather House, and I, as are the five others here. So I was a government major at the time, and I was a government major because I had always liked history, I'd liked constitutional law in high school, and so I set off on this path freshman year doing what I knew best, doing what I knew I liked. And yet I'd always been a bit of a geek. I'd always dabbled with computers, but I myself, perhaps ironically in retrospect, always viewed the guys who were taking computer science in my high school, my friends, as the real geeks. And yet finally did sophomore year, I take this little course called CS50, which actually had scared me away my own freshman year, and I was a user assistant at the time. So I was certainly already qualified, at least, to be among those geeks who I made fun of in high school. But I was scared. It had this reputation at the time, and perhaps still in part, that it was a scary course. It was a lot of work. It was hard, and yet it's one of those things where, my God, the bark was far worse than its bite. I found myself sophomore year for the first time actually finding homework fun. And I'm not saying this just to pitch this course to you. This was a genuine realization for me. Now, I think at one point I did cross the line to true geekdom, where I actually used to look forward to Friday nights because I could curl up in front of my little MacBook and work on CS50's problem sets. So at that point, I think I had clearly crossed the line, and our goal in this course is not to turn all of you into that person, but just to say that there's a little something special about this course, a little something special about computer science in general, especially these days. So the more acclimated we've all gotten to technology, the more toys we carry around in our pockets that are themselves computers. I mean, my iPhone is actually a higher performing computer than my laptop was in college. You can do a lot of neat things with these things. And now most of us in this room probably just use other people's software, other people's tools, other people's solutions to problems, because we go to iTunes, we download some app from the App Store, and voila, we can do something really neat. But by the end of this semester, you can be the person doing that problem solving. You can be the person solving some problem, building that app, that piece of software, that tool that either, one, just amuses me, amuses you, for instance, controlling, say, your iTunes library from within your apartment, clearly an app that already exists, or you can find shuttle schedules more easily, for instance. So in fact, one of the very first things I did after taking CS50 was, again, it was probably at this point Friday nights and Saturday nights, there was this opportunity at the time where Harvard was running shuttle buses, and to this day they still have these printed schedules, but there was really no means online of finding out when the next shuttle was. Now, I didn't care, because even though I lived in Mather, I wasn't among those who generally took the shuttle, but I had a lot of friends in FOHO, for instance, and one of them asked me, I think at one point, okay, FOHO is better than Mather, apparently. So one of my friends kind of got me thinking, maybe I can write a little program to help my friends check the shuttle schedules. And thus was born the awkwardly named Shuttle Boy, this piece of lexicon that has stayed around for some number of years, at least among some of the upperclassmen. At the time, this was this little command line program, similar in spirit to DOS. It was running in a Unix environment, so it wasn't very sexy at all. You just typed a couple commands and it told you when the shuttles were. Well, these days it's a little more sophisticated, and it's actually representative of precisely the types of projects that students in this course end up making by term's end. So this is version 4, some 15 years later, of Shuttle Boy. It seems Google Maps is being a bit slow there, but for those of you who have to get out of here after class and go, say, from Memorial Hall and need to go up to, say, the Quad, well, you can either leave in 2 minutes, if this really isn't working for you just yet, or you have as many other options as you might like. And coming soon, we can pitch this from CS50, will be the same capability via SMS. You can text Shuttle Boy. Via phone, you can call Shuttle Boy. CS50's phone number this year will, amazingly, this was available, 617-BUG-CS50. So that will debut soon. Don't call it just yet, because I've gotten reprimanded for, right now, it's being routed to our assistant head teaching fellow's cell phone. So you'll just get him if you have questions about the shuttle schedule for now. But that will soon be implemented. So other things actually that we ourselves spent this summer on, really in preparation for this semester, was a whole bunch of other problems that we wanted to solve. So for instance, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on this campus on a given day. And in fact, put another way, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at this campus that I certainly never take advantage of. And even though I am now overwhelmed with how many things that are going on campus, I still seem never to find the time. But voila, even there, CS50's lecture, that's where you is. So this was a program we wrote to aggregate all of the events on campus. And this has been something that other students in this same course have tackled on their own. And we've been working with other entities on campus to really make this happen. But the point to CS50 this term is that all of these little programs we've been working on, whether this one or whether one for aggregating all of Harvard's news in one place, a la Google News, all of these things are going to have what are called APIs, application programming interfaces. And this is just fancy speak for the capability of letting other people in this room, actually doing something with that same data. So by term's end, if you decide to implement a final project related to news or events or maps, well, we at least as a course will make that all the more easy this year by providing you with an interface, a set of functions, so to speak, software that you can use in your own projects to go above and beyond where students perhaps have gone in terms past because this framework has not been in place for them. And again, this all began, for me at least, some 15 years ago, implementing Shuttle Boy. I then emailed my friend Ken in FOHO. I said, hey, what do you think? Is this useful? He emailed it out on the FOHO open list. And voila, all these years later, I'm apparently still milking this project. But the neat thing about it, and this is where, too, a course like this in engineering and computer science is, I think, a little special, is that when you do your homeworks and when you do these projects in this course, many of them, yes, you'll put aside and not really use again, but some of it you will. And there's this really powerful thing, at least for me, this really exciting thing when you make something and other people actually care. Other people don't just smile and pat you on the back and then sort of go about their own lives. They actually use what you made in their own lives, even if it's for something as silly or as simple as just finding when they can get out of here to catch the next shuttle to the quad. So by term's end, that's one of the goals for this course, to empower you guys to just identify some problem, whether it's on campus or hopefully well beyond campus, and actually use your own skills, your own mind, and solve that problem in some part technologically.